Hi guys, just going to respond to some of the messages about the video that I done about it was a Vanish advert which was amazingly put together. Oh my gosh. If you don't know what I mean, just go to my page and look at it, okay, because it's an amazing depiction on an autistic young woman who is struggling, and her parents trying to cope, and her siblings. So I just want to do a couple of seconds talk about the glass child. The glass child is a child or an adult who is kind of left behind, feeling kind of isolated, horribly sort of, in other words, sort of neglected in a way, not deliberately, but not because of autism only, but for any child with, any person or adult or child or who has a disability, and the parents are dealing with that person or child or adult, and there are other siblings involved. The sibling can feel quite isolated, quite neglected, and that's not deliberate. Me personally, with Caden, because my older two are in their mid-20s, so I had Caden quite late, so they didn't feel it as much because they know my attention is focused on Caden, but because they're adults, they're literally sort of doing their own thing, and you know, it's a bit easier. But when you've got kids who are of sort of similar ages, or like a few years older or a few years younger, whichever way, you know, it would be, they can be seen as a glass child, you know, like they're not seen, they're not heard. And like I said, not deliberately, because, you know, I'm never judgmental. I can have an opinion or a view, but I'm not judgmental on parenting, because everyone's situation is different. I've never made my older kids feel like a glass child. I've always been attentive and understanding to all my children, but I can understand how a child can feel like a glass child, like an outsider, like an outcast, like their opinions, their voice doesn't matter, that their needs are not met. And it's really sad. And in majority of cases, it's just not, you know, it's not deliberate. But when you're caring for a child who has got, like, you know, a disability, SEND, learning disability, autistic, Down syndrome or whatever, you know, parents can be so focused on caring for that child that they forget that their neurotypical child, or their child who doesn't have a disability, or, you know, has also got needs. We've all got needs, and it's really sad. So it's not easy, but parents, you're doing your best, especially when you've got, you know, a neurotypical child or a child with a disability. You know, majority of parents, I know you're doing your best. You really are, as I am. And I know what it's like to feel broken, because I felt broken. And I didn't want to expose myself online to feel broken, but I just keep it real. Those who know, who know. I've done so many broken, not so many, but I've done a couple of broken posts when I'm just exhausted and tired. And I've shared it with friends only. I've put it public, then I shared it with friends only. And then I just said, you know what? I don't like attention. I just do what I do because I want to help people. I'm helping myself, my son, and if it goes somewhere for the better, for me financially, whatever, then so be it. But at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I'm helping myself. I'm helping my son. And when I'm helping my son and I'm helping myself, then I have the strength and motivation to help other people. And then whatever else happens, so be it. I'm happy for that. So yeah, I hope that made sense. I'm not going to go into it too much, but just look up Glass Child. Okay guys, bye.